how important is it for a coach, right? For a coach that is, saying they're on the go all the time and everything. How important is to stop and then take a step back, look what you need to do, level up even more, and then push and drive to that next level. How important is
Yeah, hold
it for
on. I
them?
want to. A person is worthy of being a teacher if he is able to gain new insights from chewing over what he already knew, right? So I
That's
think
powerful.
the biggest thing that you can take from that is I think a lot of us have the information, you know? And I think one of the biggest things that I'm starting to realize nowadays is that if you don't take the time to reflect, if you don't take the time to think, if you don't take the time to just write out your thoughts and actually see what you think, I think a lot of people struggle in actually forming their own thoughts nowadays. One, because there's not a lot of time for it, like we're in this rat race of not being able to kind of like decide what we think, and we're just kind of being told like this is what you think and this is when you have to think it and this is what you have to say. And I think m- more recently I've been more prone to seeing this stuff and kind of having an adverse reaction to it. And the more that I read philosophy and the more I dive down this path of training and business and whatnot, I see that like individualism, the originality comes from just trusting and understanding that you know what's best for yourself. But if you never go back and go through it, you never actually realize that how far along you are, right? And you don't always need new information. Sometimes the basics work so well. I mean? The basics are always going to be there. They're always going to work. They're always going to be the foundation of most things that we do anyways. And it's just about going back and understanding that stuff and learning from the basics, before I hit this, I guess you can say, inspiration period again, was I wasn't reflecting. I was just doing and 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 just like, doing a bunch of shit. And it was just kind of like at this point where I was like, all right, I'm just doing a bunch of stuff. Like, what the fuck am I actually doing? And I sat down when I got home and I had a lot of time to just think. There's a lot of good stuff, good philosophy in Star Wars. And I just had time to kind of like basically put myself in a position where I was like, okay, I know what I'm doing. I know the direction I want to head, and like I can do it now.